Ridiculous here again to talk about PeepMode, a melee spectator system for StarCraft 2. In this video I'm going to cover Commentator mode, which is a variation of the game. If you haven't already watched the PeepMode overview video, I suggest you do that now or else you might get a little lost in this video. Commentator mode provides some unique features for players who are specified as commentators, and it also gives more control to commentators. So let's jump into BattleNet and check out how to get one of these games going.
Alright, so here we are in BattleNet. I happen to be on the North American servers. Doesn't really matter though, these maps are deployed on North America, Southeast Asia, Europe, and Korea. I have one map out there. The publisher is asking for more. Probably will send him more pretty soon. So, to get a game of commentator mode going, you click on multiplayer, and then click on create a game. If you join a game, it's going to look for what is popular as far as the games that are already created, and there's probably not going to be popular commentator mode versions up, so you have to go to create a game. And then you type in PeepMode here, and it will show you all the maps that are available. I'm going to be using my demo map here, which is Metalopolis, just for this demo. And you'll see that I have a bunch of computer players lined up here. The only reason is I didn't want to hassle a bunch of players to help me create this video, so I just created some dummy computer players here. So over on the right, if you are the host, and you'll see that I'm set as host because I created the game, you can change these drop downs. The first one and the last one you can't change, and Blizzard doesn't make it possible to highlight or to hide them. It just is what it is. So the first one and the last one, don't worry about it, you can't change them anyway. The second one, however, you can change between peep mode and commentator mode. Now notice when we're in peep mode here, everybody's got this player drop down, and if you try to select commentator, it won't let you. It's locked. Everybody's locked in as a player. However, when you choose commentator mode, you can then set people as commentators. So I think a really typical situation is going to be maybe you and one other person will be commentators, and then the rest of the people will be players. So I'm just going to set myself as commentator, and everybody else is going to be a player. So we'll go ahead and launch the game. Now that the initialization has been finished, it says you have been granted commentator privileges, and you'll notice that we don't get the I want to play or avatars menu up here by default, because it's assuming that we're going to be commentating, not playing. So at this point, everything is the same as far as other people declaring whether they want to play, so we'd expect to see some players out here immediately, but I'm just going to hold off on that for a second and show you the options. So when you click on options, in the normal, what I call democratic peep mode, or the default mode, you have all player vote, and then you have observer vote. But in this case, only commentators can vote on these things. Players can't even vote on these things, and that's why it says 1 of 1. So I'm in favor of 1v1, and there's only one vote required because I'm the only commentator. If there were two commentators, then both of them could vote on these options. But right now I have complete control over this, so I can switch this to, FFA, and do whatever I want with these options. Now, another feature of commentator mode is this new player select mode called commentator choice, and that is default. What this means is that instead of letting the system choose who's going to play, I get to choose who's going to play, and I'll show you how that works in a second. And then down here we have these familiar options that you see in normal democratic mode. So I'm going to go ahead and spawn some dummies here. This command won't work in the normal game. It's just for this demo, so don't even try it. Okay, so you'll see that we have 5 players here, all who would like to play a match. And so the match countdown is going to go down as it normally does. However, when it reaches 0, it's going to provide me with a menu so that I can select who's going to play. So normally the system would say, well, based on the player select mode, I'll select, the person who's played the fewest number of matches. But here I get to vote. So I'm going to say Palmer's going to play, and then you know what? I'm going to let the system select randomly the other player. So it's going to be Palmer versus Ocelot. And I could have selected Ocelot, specifically, but I just decided to only select one and have the system select them randomly. So the game is going to start as it normally does, and we have all the same features. And by the way, I don't have AI turned on these, so they're not going to do anything. but we can just assume that they're playing against each other. So everything's the same, except here are some cool new features. If you hit Alt-K, it's going to show you an overview of the map, and it's going to place icons to indicate where the town halls are, and then you can draw on this. Okay, so if you want to draw arrows, etc., if you want to, like, circle things, you can basically do whatever you want. It's a virtual pen, and you hit Alt-O to erase what you've done. So then you can, draw some other stuff, and then hit Alt-O, etc. Alt-J will give you a map analysis overview, and this is based on the map analyzer that's posted at sc2mapster.com. I'm sorry, I don't know the author's name right now, but the author deserves a lot of credit because it's a really cool tool that has benefited the StarCraft 2 community quite a bit. And so, again, it's just an image that you can reference while you're playing the game, and so you can switch back and forth between the two, Alt-J, Alt-K, and you can draw on both of them if you want. And again, Alt-O to erase. So I'm going to get out of here. And then you can also use the pen on the normal map. So you can say Alt-P, and then you can draw on the map as like an overview, or like an overlay or whatever. I don't know how useful that's going to be, but again, Alt-O to erase.
So that's sort of the quick rundown of Commentator mode. I did want to caution you about one thing, and that is the following. Blizzard does not expose Fog of War memory to modders. So unfortunately, it's impossible to transfer what one player sees under Fog of War to another player. So let's take this example. Let's say we're observing everyone and the game has just started, and we have player A versus player B. So they each have their first town hall that's gone down, and they're beginning to mine, and they're going to be building buildings soon. But let's say I select player B instead of selecting everyone. Suddenly we'll lose vision of player A, and we'll only have vision of player B. However, we will still see under Fog of War player A's base. So we're not accurately seeing what player B sees under his Fog of War. We're simply changing our alliance aspect, it's called. So unfortunately, Blizzard has not exposed the ability to get at a player's Fog of War memory or vision or whatever you want to call it. This would be important, for example, when player B passes by a proxy racks being built, and you're not sure if player B saw that or not in the brief seconds when his probe was passing by that racks being built. You would be able to, in normal replay mode, in a normal replay, switch to player B's vision and see, oh, yep, he saw that going down, and you'll see like a partially constructed barracks under his Fog of War. In Peep mode, that's impossible. The only workaround would be to have multiple machines connected to the same game, observing only individual players from the very beginning of each match, and you'd have to switch between those different machines to see what player A and player B's Fog of War memory is. So I understand this is a serious limitation, and I'm continuing to work on it, and I'm hoping that Blizzard just exposes this information to modders, because I feel it's a fairly important thing to expose. So please send me your feedback, your ideas for improvement, and good luck, have fun.